Bridges, section 6.2, multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Okay, so let's recall how multiplication of fractions works. If I have u over v times w over z, remember you multiply across, that's u times w over v times z. Well, what we can do is we can apply that to things of this nature. So let's say I have 4x cubed y over 3xy to the fourth times negative 6 x squared y squared over 10x to the fourth. What I can do here is I can go ahead and multiply straight across. This would be negative 24x cubed times x squared is x to the fifth, and then this would be y cubed over 30 x to the fifth, y to the fourth. And then what I could do is I could simplify this. Now notice that this is all multiplication and division, so I can go ahead, x to the fifth divided by x to the fifth, that drops. If I take y cubed, I'm going to have y to the first left over. And then 30 and 24 have a common factor of 6. So this would become 4, and this would become 5. And so I'd have negative 4 over 5y. Now, what you can do, if you want, is you can take that exact same thing and start canceling out early. And basically what you want to do is you want to take factors from one of the numerators and factors from one of the denominators and then cancel them because of the multiplication. So notice that this y can take out one of those y's, so that'll be y cubed. This x will take out one of those x's, so that's x squared. Let's see. 3 becomes 1, negative 6 becomes negative 2. And then that would become negative 1, and that could become 5. And notice that x squared, and x to the fourth will cancel out. And if I take y squared, I can take that, and it will just become y. And if I take what's left over, I still get negative 4 over 5y. So either way you want to do it is fine. Now this will help especially when we start getting more complicated problems. So let's say I've got x over 5x squared minus 20x times x minus 4 over 2x squared plus x minus 3. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything's factored out first. So I've got x, and then notice that I can take a 5x out of this bottom part. That'll be x minus 4 times, and then I got an x minus 4 here, and then I need to factor this. You can use your box here. Two x squared or x and minus 3, so this would be negative 6x squared. 3x, negative 2x, x, 2x, minus 1, positive 3. So you'd have 2x plus 3, x minus 1. let's see what cancels. Notice I can take the x minus 4s. Those are gone. This x cancels with that x. And observe, there's a 1 left in this place, a 1 left in that place. 1 times 1 is 1, so this would be 1 over 5 times 2x plus 3 times x minus 1. And that's a perfectly good answer. All right. Let's try a couple more with the multiplication, then we'll move on to division. All right. 4x squared minus 4x over x squared plus 2x minus 3 times x squared plus x minus 6 over 4x. Once again, we're going to have to make sure this is all factored. If you observe, you could pull a 4x out of the numerator of the first fraction. That'll be x minus 1. Notice that you have to have the minus 1 because when I divide 4x by 4x, I get a 1 in its place. This next part's going to be x plus 3x minus 1. When you factor it, then you'll have x plus 3, x minus 2, and a 4x. So let's observe. 4x and 4x cancel. X minus 1, x plus 3. And notice down here I'll have a 1 and a 1 here. And if it's divided by 1, that 1 on the bottom really doesn't matter. And so really all I have left is x minus 2. All right. Let's try one more. Multiplication, and then we'll switch to division. So x minus y over y squared minus x squared times x squared minus xy minus 2y squared over 3x minus 6y. All right. Again, we need to factor. X minus y is pretty much set. X squared, or y squared minus x squared would be y plus x, y minus x, times, now let's see, the denominator I can pull out 3. So that would be x minus 2y. And then this numerator here, I can factor. If I had to, I could use a little box. So that would be x squared minus xy minus 2y squared, negative 2x squared y squared. So you have an xy on both of these. So this would be minus 2 and plus 1. X and x minus 2y and y. So that'd be x plus y and x minus 2y. The x minus 2y is clearly canceled. Now, x plus y and y plus x, with a plus, that's the same thing, so I can cancel that. And then this one, these are backwards, but they've got a minus. So you've got x minus y and y minus x. Those are actually opposites. So if I were to cancel those, I would have to have a negative 1 in its place. It's kind of like if I took this one, I could make it into negative 1 times x minus y, and then I could cancel them, the negative 1 would be left over. But the moral of the story is, if I cancel that with that, I'm left with a negative 1. So notice that I've got a negative 1, this is times 1 up here, this is 1 here, times 3, so this comes out to be negative 1/3. Okay, so let's see if we can get through our division examples before the 15-minute mark. So when you do division, Remember, when you divide fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. You keep it, you change it, and you flip it. All right. So let's say I have x over x plus 3 divided by 4 over x minus 1. So how that works is I'm going to keep the first fraction, change to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. Can I cancel anything here? The answer is a resounding no. I can't cancel these x's here. Okay, I get my magic pen, make sure it's in the right color. I can't cancel these x's here because of the plus 3. Okay, and I certainly can't cancel those x's there. So my answer here is just going to be x times x minus 1 over, and it'll probably read better if I put the 4 in the front. And again, I'm not going to make you distribute that out unless you really, really want to. All right, let's try a couple of these, and we should have it. 2x over 3x minus 12 divided by x squared minus 2x over x squared minus 6x plus 8. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to rewrite this, but we're going to keep, change, and flip. So 2x over 3x minus 12 times x squared minus 6x plus 8 over x squared minus 2x. So let's see what happens. So as I factor this, this is still 2x. I can pull a 3 out of that, so that'll be x minus 4. I can factor this numerator into x minus 2 and x minus 4. And then if I take an x out of this, this is x minus 2. Now, x minus 4's cancel, x minus 2's cancel. And since this is multiplication, this x and that x cancel. This becomes 1, that becomes 1. You end up with 2/3. All right. Now, let's finish. X squared minus y squared over 2x plus 2y divided by 2x squared minus 3xy plus y squared over 6x plus 2y. All right. So, keep, change, and flip. Factor. And see what cancels out. So it appears I've got 3x plus y over 2x minus y. And there's your homework assignment. Gotta love that pause button. Anyway, catch you next time.